What's going on YouTube? Heylow here bringing you another Total War Warhammer 2 1v1 matchup. So today we're going to be playing some ladder battles and we're going to be rocking Chaos led by Sigvald the Magnificent. So let's jump into the compositions here. Alright, so for myself with Chaos, we're going to have Prince Sigvald and a Chaos Sorcerer with Lore of Death, both on foot and in the Chaos Warriors with halberds. Up in the front line, we're going to have 3 Chaos Marauders for screening. Midline is going to be 3 Chaos Warriors with shields. Out on the back line here, we have 3 Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes and 2 Chaos Warhounds with poison in case of any weird Vanguard Shadow Warrior play. Out on each flank, we're going to have a Gorebeast Chariot as well. So that is it for Chaos. Let's jump over to Nagarythe and Alith Anar. So front line, going to be White Lions with the Pure Main Company. Flank's going to be some Spearmen. Midline, some Sisters of Averlorn and the Everqueen's Court Guard. Backline, the Scions of Mathlan. So Alith Anar down here with a Handmaiden of the Everqueen, both on foot. And then way down in the right corner here, we are going to have 2 units of Illyrian Reavers just kind of hanging out behind this terrain. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so off the bat, really wasn't sure what to expect with Nagarythe, especially in a ladder battle. So I just kind of went for some wide infantry. Sigvald's on foot in case of archers, had my Gorebeast chariots to deal with some armor and get into skirmishers in case they didn't have any good targets. All my Marauder horsemen with throwing axes, they're shielded and they'll be able to deal with any elite cavalry, kite some of that stuff out. And they also have some of the armor piercing to bring to bear. So, seeing his formation, we are going to start moving up, and knowing that nothing is behind us, we move our Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. I see this little pocket down here. My opponent thinks that they're hidden, but he doesn't check once the battle starts. So I know that they're there. I'm trying not to reveal my hand as of yet. So right now, I'm just kind of maneuvering, trying not to make it obvious that I know, because I really want to grab that. If I can gank that pocket down there and get them right off the battlefield, it's going to be a huge pickup for me. So for right now, splitting a chariot off and some Marauder horsemen with throwing axes to this flank. My opponent just trying to drop some extra damage, but I am staying just outside of their archer range, as you can see. I'm not going to push in because I'm going to try and take these engagements. So I start pushing down and my opponent realizes that he has been discovered. Tries to push out to grab my throwing axes, but I just go into charge, throw the Gorebeast chariot in there. He tries to pull the other one out the back, get the poison warhounds in there to wrap him up, tie him down momentarily, throwing axes, get them all out of there, and sub them out with the Gorebeast chariot and the poison warhounds in melee. Save some of this ammo. I lost half a horseman unit for my throwing axes, but that's definitely worth it because that's all the mobility he has. My warhound poisons over here, kind of holding them off. They're not doing a ton of damage because it's dedicated melee cavalry. But we wrap up this one unit and shatter it, so we're going to pull the Gorebeast in with the Poison Warhounds to support that other one, which is going to rout off the battlefield, unfortunately. But we are going to be able to get into him and get the throwing axes in there. On the other side of the battlefield, just kind of harassing, getting into some good positioning. My opponent's going to start pushing up because he realizes I'm not going to be taking this engagement. And I now have him outgunned, essentially, with all my throwing axes and my mobility. So he's going to advance and start trying to take advantage of me being a little bit out of position on this left flank, but his cavalry is completely gone. So what we are going to start doing is going for a little bit of an envelopment here with our throwing axes. Try to get a little bit of extra damage in on the White Lions right off the bat, but I also don't want to take too many shots because the Sisters of Averlorn and Everqueen's Court Guard will absolutely nuke my cavalry, just like they are doing to these Chaos Marauders, who are getting absolutely shredded right now health-wise. They're getting tanked on. So taking all that damage is a big no-no, so we're going to pull our formation back and again try and get right outside of range. While they are firing on my Marauders, we're going to take advantage and get the throwing axes in to get another volley off on these White Lions. Get the chariots in the back line. You can see kind of getting the surround here. He gets his shots in on my Marauder horsemen with throwing axes, which is definitely a good place to be. Getting all that damage in, but we do have shields. So try not to get the chariots nuked right away. He notices this and starts pulling the Scions of Mathlan in, and we are just going to go down and charge straight through the White Lions. And at this point, I don't really have a good way to get in here without taking sustainable damage, so I'm just going to start pushing. His archers are out of place, and we're just going to advance in and just go all in with the infantry, get into these White Lions, do what we can. Sigvald hanging out, going in for the rush. He gets his spearmen pretty out of position, trying to go after my horsemen with throwing axes, so we're just kind of kiting around, trying to drag him out of the way. Chariots pulled through to safety, and now we are going to get into the juicy stuff. So we get the Gorebeast through. It's going to do a really nice charge on the Everqueen's Court Guard, and we're going to pull the Poison Warhounds in. Unfortunately, Warhound's not going to do great because Sisters of Avalorn all have very good melee stats, pretty high defense and attack. You can see melee defense 51 on the Sisters, 63 right now on the Everqueen's Court Guard. So we're definitely taking some big damage because they do protect themselves fairly decently against large. But doing what we can just to tie them up and bog them down, because in the engagement over here in the mid line, we have to worry about these white lions. So we are dropping Soul Blight just to reduce the armor and weapon damage, and we're just getting our Chaos Warriors and everything in here. Sigvald charging into a glorious combat with our warriors with halberds. Just going to start beating on the white lions and the Pure Main Company. Do some really nice damage in here with the halberds. Not the best unit to be taking this, but they have high armor, they have their armor piercing damage. That's about the best we're going to get. Chaos Warriors kind of melted in this engagement. So yeah, we've got the warriors on the flank over there with some marauders as well to support. Gorebeast chariots running amok in the back line. Sisters of Avalorn trying to do what they can to take out our skirmishers, but right now we're just kind of putting pressure in kind of every part of his formation. Alith is over here almost out of ammo, but we're trying to get a little damage in on him. Gorebeast chariots, again, Poison Warhounds going in for the sisters, trying to do what damage we can on them. They're getting pretty low health, but we need to take out the unit models. So chariots getting into the thick of things. Spearmen trying to go back to support, but over on the flanks here, the Chaos Warriors have done surprisingly well, and our horsemen are just kind of running amok right now. They don't really have the ability to take them out because the sisters are getting trounced upon by our Gorebeast chariots, who are just constantly cycling back and forth between the two units. And those spearmen aren't braced, so they're not going to be stopping the charge. Gorebeast chariots have very high mass. So right now, not worrying too much about trying to go after like Alith or the Handmaid of the Everqueen, because in melee combat we have Sigvald, who is absolutely beasting right now, really chewing through these Pure Main and the White Lions. The Gorebeast chariots are doing some nice rear charges. It's definitely going to be the sisters and the White Lions that are going to carry this game. If we take them out, which we're doing right now, we will be able to win without contesting. So Alith running out of ammo over here. Handmaiden with a lot of ammo left, but not really having very good targets other than the Marauder Horsemen. Probably should have gone into melee and tried to go after like my caster or something like that. But just kind of hanging out over here, taking on the Scions with all my warrior support. But yeah, not looking too good right now for Nagarythe. You can see, yeah, balance of power is very in my favor, and at this point, my opponent concedes. He realizes that with none of that cavalry, his Sisters of Avalorn are pretty much destroyed. They were routing out. His White Lions were being trounced on by chariots. He really had no way to come back from that. So great game to my opponent, though. Put up a good fight. I think that the loss of the Illyrian Reavers in the beginning was huge. It was very devastating for him because he had no way to deal with all of my skirmishers and Poison Warhounds and keep them off of the Sisters of Avalorn and the Everqueen's Court Guard, which are a huge, huge cost sink. But yeah, it was a lot of fun seeing Alith and Sigvald in the same match in a ladder battle. So it was pretty out of the ordinary. But yeah, our army picking up a good amount of kills. Chaos Warriors holding surprisingly well considering all the White Lions in the front line. Tried to get them into the Spearmen and such when I could, and supported by the Chaos Warriors with halberds. They both have very high melee defense, so it definitely helped in holding. Sigvald doing a decent job, picking up 29 kills, just kind of spanking on the Pure Main Company. Sorcerer with Death. I was mostly just using Soul Blight because it's a really good supporting spell to bring against a lot of factions, actually. That and Spirit Leech are a good combination because you can drop the armor of like a heavy front line, which definitely helps the Chaos Warriors dish out a little more damage. But Alith, not High Elves, same thing. But 37 kills on Alith, okay. He was just kind of plinking his shots. He is going to be getting a buff in the Vampire Coast patch, so it'll be interesting to see if he's a little more effective because his arrows are going to be a little more accurate. So maybe he'll be better for like targeting single entity models and trying to go for more snipes, which is kind of supposed to be his thing. But Everqueen just not really picking up anything. 4 kills here, just shooting at some cav chariots. Sisters of Avalorn and the Everqueen's Court Guard just not able to be very effective, getting run amok like halfway through the game by Gorebeast chariots and everything, just not able to take many shots. White Lions were awesome. If we were in a forested area, they probably would have done super well, but unfortunately just not really enough to deal with how wide my army was. Sigvald not a normal pick for Chaos, so probably wasn't expecting me to outnumber him so heavily. But yeah, great game to my opponent. that is going to be it for today, guys. Feel free to drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think, anything you'd like to see. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I will see you next time.